We are amazing because our passion is limitless and our drive is intense. Therefore, you will not deny our grind. You are now listening to the Faith, Grind, and Inspire podcast.
Welcome back to a great episode of Faith, Grind, Inspire. I'm your host, Gene Alert.
And I'm your co-host, Jeffrey Patrick.
What happened to the toast and the most and all that stuff? And the goals with the toes. He got the green sweater on. But anyway, today we have a very special guest. My man, Micheal Vann.
Gene, thank you. Thank you. Hello.
He said hello.
Pleasure to be here.
Yo, let's start off, man. I love the green, bro. I love the green bow tie. Let me tell you, Mike.
Is he part Irish?
I am.
I was trying to figure out.
My name is Patrick.
Yeah, it is Patrick.
True that.
It is. But yeah, so every episode, this guy's the best dressed man in this room. Always.
You see, I came cash. I didn't want to compete with that either.
No. I can't compete. We can't compete,
Okay,
man.
good.
But that's Patrick. Patrick has that stamp.
Yeah.
But let's start off with you. Yeah. So tell us who you are, your story.
The whole story from
No.
He said no, not the whole story. Just where you from? Where you from?
I'm from. I was born in Chicago
Okay, Chicago.
and raised in Gary, Indiana.
Oh wow.
No,
Okay.
but
Gary
I gotta interrupt.
Sure, good.
This man, Micheal Vann, makes the best fried chicken in the world.
In the world?
In the world.
So we're skipping a lot of stuff. Like where does love come from?
We're dealing with the present story.
Yeah, I guess so. Let's get right to it.
Yeah, I gotta.
Patrick
go
loves
right.
food. Patrick loves food.
Chicken is king.
Yo, chicken is king.
Chicken is king.
All right, now we got that out of the way. Let's go.
Okay.
Let's go.
1 minute into the interview.
Chicken
Let's
is
go.
king. Well, come from a loving family, a well-balanced spiritual family, raised in Gary, Indiana. Always had, a sense of God and faith in my life, right?
Okay.
So that was always the comfort zone. And I just went through life, man, following the path. And probably the first story that I connected with as a child was the story of Jesus Christ and of walking the earth and spreading love. So that's my foundation. So then you go through life and you grow up a little bit and you get to New York at 22 and you start exploring all these things. But
What made you come to New York?
ambitions of being an entrepreneur, being in the city that never sleeps, being in a competitive market to hone the skills. Made a decision to be an entrepreneur in my sophomore year in college, right?
Where'd you go?
Not to Western Michigan.
Okay.
Western Michigan University. Decided not to go the lawyer path and decided that business and entrepreneurship had that independence that fit my personality, right?
How did your parents feel about that?
My parents allowed me to be who I wanted to be. Right?
Okay.
Always had a very independent path, right? They gave me the framework to operate in, and then I just chose my
Fill it up.
Yeah.
Fill it up.
Yeah. My father was very independent,
Okay.
and my mother was just very nurturing.
And Smitty's and Mo's Chicken Kitchen. Don't forget it. I'm telling y'all. Listen, this man has what's known as the soul roll, okay? He makes the soul roll, which is macaroni and cheese and fried chicken wrapped into like an egg roll type of a flaky bread. Hey, man.
Can I correct him just a little bit?
Yes.
He's so excited. He kind of skips over all the other things.
He loves food, I guess.
I have about 5 different flavors that I'm working with right now, right? But this is a specialty chicken concept. Smitty and Mo's is about chicken.
Yeah, it's the Chicken Kitchen.
So the soul roll is my version of a egg roll, kind of like what you do in the Irish world. This is what I did. This is the Asian part of me, And I created the soul roll in 1991 at the Shark Bar, right?
The Shark Bar.
It was totally different.
All my 90s boys out there.
See, it's a little different, but the present creation has a different texture to it, and it's got all these different flavors. So I do a Cajun.
Oh.
I do a shrimp, mac, scampi, which he's talking about. He's thinking it was chicken. It was shrimp.
Yeah, it was shrimp. Yeah, what am I talking about?
And I got a jerk chicken. I got a vegetarian.
Okay.
I got curry. So it's one of the specialty items in the chicken thing.
Yeah,
so
it wasn't.
We do chicken all the way around. It's kind of like the international world of chicken.
Yeah,
so if you
man.
like chicken, don't deny yourself.
No, the
I love
fried
that. If you
chicken
like the
is
chicken.
off the hook.
If you like, so they each have their own platform, right? Mm-hmm. Each style, each variety that I do in chicken, they stand on their own, right? So we try to integrate this experience, and one of my slogans is creating delicious memories. So, I mean, every time you come into Smitty and Mo's, we hope you have a different, memorable experiance because
I'm not even going to get into the
you
dessert.
have so much to choose from.
I'm not even going to get into the
And
dessert.
he only came once. So
Yeah,
I ain't
going to get into the dessert. The dessert is... all right, man.
So it's all good. It's about,
listen.
And I got into food, after I decided I didn't want to open up a clothing store, right? That was my first
That was
ambition.
your first ambition. Okay.
First ambition was to open up a clothing store to have the black Barneys. Everything my whole ambition was about creating that economic platform that could have impact on our culture and our community, right? So whatever I did, I always had that cultural slant. And that becomes part of my mantra in what I do today, which is Urban Acres, building brands that build communities. So everything comes from center.
I like that.
Everything comes from center,
Yes.
right? And it has to be holistic for me, right? I take my own path. I've taken my own path in life, and I just stay in my lane, and that's being true to myself, true to family, and my spiritual, domain. How I like to operate. I certainly have took my lefts and rights, right, but I always came back to center, right, and I had to create the paradigm to operate, right, so I can stay focused. So I created,
like that.
Yeah, I created Urban Acres.
I like
which
that.
is about the new playing field in urban America. It's like turning that into the new farm and making it fertile, right?
Yeah.
And then I had to create the mantra, which is building brands that build communities that nurture the ground, right? And so forth. So when I wake up, I pray, and then I operate in that paradigm so I don't go astray, because I definitely had a decade where I was more ego-driven and more... it just didn't move from the decision. Some decision I made didn't come from center. It came from ego, right? So that was the 90s for me. So I decided not to open up a clothing store. After spending 7 years with Lord & Taylor, became a buyer with Lord & Taylor, the menswear division, right? And decided, after I looked at the intricacies of the industry, I knew I couldn't be successful. I knew it would be too challenging as an entrepreneur in that game. Just too many elements that you don't control. Production, delivery of that production, quality of that production, buying 6 months out in front.
Too much out of your hands.
It's out of my hands. I can't.
too much
It's tough to be distinctive, right? So I decided I needed to diversify my focus and decided I want to be a producer, film producer, TV, and so forth. So I left the corporate world and took a job at B. Smith's in 1987.
Wow.
Barb and I had become friends over the years as a professional, and then she was a famous model, but she also had a stint in a restaurant in management before she opened up her own place with Michael Weinstein. So she gave me a job. She took a chance, said, come on in. I told her I wanted to be an entrepreneur, but I could add my managerial skills I had from corporate world, and that's what I did. And then organically, I became a restaurateur. Just craziness.
Wow.
Craziness. So she created that platform that allowed me to hands-on decide to let God work, and that's the path of that.
She has a place in Long Island.
She had a place in Sag Harbor. She had 4 restaurants. She had 3 restaurants, one in D.C., one in Manhattan, one in Sag Harbor.
Yeah.
But she's going through a phase in her life right now that that God has her.
Managing partner. You're managing. Talk to us about that a little.
I'm a founder dude. I mean, the 90s was more, I'm a first generation entrepreneur, so you certainly have to compromise when you open up your first business. So that was a different experience, right? I was always founder, creator, ideation person, right? And then I added on those other skills, and as I've evolved, I've picked up some culinary, skills and or sensibilities, right? But I've always been the brand developer, concept developer, idea. I've had a natural instinct to create brands, to create, and I stay in my lane. I'm a lifestyle dude, so food was certainly my priority, but I have an affinity to entertainment. I have a producer's kind of profile, right? I see it, I smell it, put the people together, and make it happen.
You delegate.
Yeah, whatever needs. And, as an entrepreneur, you have to do what's necessary. In 1990, what I did was totally different from what I did in 2017
All right. So
totally different.
Being that you said that, right?
Yeah.
If you had a chance, what would you tell the 22-year-old Micheal Vann that you could right now? What would you say to him? What would you say to him?
Stay the course, man. Keep stay in your lane. I probably would just share all the insights that I gave him and probably capsule it in 2 or 3 words. But you have to go through things that make you change. You can't have all the answers. So,
let go, let God.
Let go, let God is what I said, right? I stay there, right? Because you have to deal with life's uncertainties, and if you're not grounded in a certain spiritual space, you'll never be able to handle none of it. So I would say stay true to that, right? But be open. Here's something I would tell you. Play chess, not checkers, right? Study chess, not checkers. There's some metaphor in there, but it's like your moves must be strategic at all times.
Worthwhile.
Always.
Yeah. People don't understand. When you're playing chess, you better make some moves that are worthwhile.
Yeah, all of them. And everything's contingent on that move, every move, right? And then you need to see three moves out. I didn't grow up playing chess, right? I played checkers, right? And my father was a foreman in the steel mills. So a lot of strategy in business came through trial and error with me, right? I studied, I certainly read every entrepreneurial book and every bio of every dynamic person that I thought was relevant in my life would be relevant to my journey, right? So you can only prepare so much. As an entrepreneur, you must be solid as a spiritual individual because it reflects who you are, right? An entrepreneur, there's no filter. It will reflect who you are.
I hear you, man.
You know what I mean? It's a character play. So all my businesses that I've created and the love that I've given were a reflection of who I am, right? And I think my customers will say that.
That's why your chicken tastes like that, man.
I put love, baby. Put love in the chicken.
Yeah, man.
Cluck.
I don't think y'all get it, man.
No,
y'all don't get it.
Well,
they don't get it, Mike. They don't get it.
Like I said,
I wish you'd have brought some.
You know what?
I wish
if it wasn't so early, I would have done it.
Yeah.
But once you get on the train and people smell it, people start following me, man.
People start following me,
man.
We don't want that, man.
Me. Okay, listen.
Tell us about the experience.
All right, hold on. I got the jerk chicken. You know what I'm saying? No, I'm
Jamaican.
You know what I'm saying? So I got the jerk chicken. I was like, yo, this is all right here, man, for some jerk chicken. But then I got 8 pieces of fried chicken.
He did do a thing, yeah.
I got 8 pieces of fried chicken, put it in the bag, think I'm going to bring it home. My peoples is going to be, only 4 pieces of the fried chicken made it home, man.
And he ate before he got on the train. He went in.
No.
If you have time, you will go in too.
Yo,
so, it's...
When I bit into the fried chicken, it was juicy and so delicious.
Wow.
I was like, wait a minute, yo. what did he put in this thing? I was just, I'm off the hook. Listen, if you don't do anything for the rest of the year, go to Smitty's and Mo's Chicken Kitchen.
They're in New Jersey, right? You're in New Jersey?
He's in Newark.
Downtown Newark.
Downtown Newark.
I'm currently in the Gateway, looking to, maybe get it on the street because the Gateway has me in a.
You're not going to be mad at me.
But I'll make sure you're taken care of.
Nah, you're not going to be mad at me.
Sensibilities.
You're not going to be mad. If you in the area, man, just zip over there and be like.
20 minutes.
Yeah,
two stops.
Zip over
You
there.
don't even have to go outside. Come out of Newark, Penn.
And you right in the
Gateway,
building.
Thruway, and then go right to Smitty and Mo's, man.
Wow.
Bam.
About a 3-minute walk.
Bam.
Everybody
bam.
should take the trip.
It's not. You're not going to be
Make me come to New York. Make me. Tell me to come back to New York. Come on.
Yeah.
Come back to New York, man.
Come back
Come
to
to
New
Brooklyn.
York.
You gotta
come to the
out
Bronx.
first, though.
Yeah, I'll come out first.
Come out.
I'll bring my wife.
It's
Come on
good
out first.
stuff. It's good chicken, man. I'm not chicken. It's king.
Thank you, brother.
Yeah,
So is
for
this
real.
your first restaurant?
No.
Tell them about Amy Roots.
I mean, the first restaurant that I kind of developed
Justin's.
was the Shark Bar.
Shark Bar. Yeah, because you mentioned it
The
before.
Shark Bar. Okay. Bar was my first restaurant.
And everybody in the 90s know.
Oh, everybody knows
You
Shark
know what I'm
Bar
saying?
in New York.
It was in a lot of rap
touched some
songs.
lives in the 90s in the Shark Bar.
Yeah.
I mean, because you're serving. When you're in the restaurant business, you're there to serve. So I don't care if you're an owner, founder, creator, whatever. If you're not in the mindset of serving, you're not going to be in business. So I was, I'm from the servant mentality. Even though I'm a king, I know how to serve, right? Because and so that's what I incorporated in my businesses, right? The Shark Bar was first.
Do you know the highest level in heaven is the people who serve?
I don't know nothing else.
The highest
really
level in Jesus' kingdom is the people who serve. You hold the highest level.
I don't know.
Hey, it's the bottom, but you hold the
I
highest.
don't know any other. That's how you come in the thing.
Yeah.
That's how you go out.
Yeah,
So
nah.
if you stay
Fire.
So after Shark Bar.
Shark Bar. So I mean, there's there's a book.
Oh,
there,
there's
right? There's a book. There's nothing easy here, right?
Yeah.
I mean, and I can go into so many layers, but the Shark Bar. I don't know if people know this story, but the Shark Bar was originally a small bar on the Upper West Side on 83rd Street in Amsterdam. The original Shark Bar. It was owned by some Jewish fellows I met, on the Upper West Side. And while I was managing B. Smith, they asked me to be part of it, blah, blah, blah. So I did that. And it was too small to really maximize the opportunity, right? It was a small bar. It was cool. Name was cool, but it had limitations. And so probably one of the most ingenious, flickers that came through my head was to rebrand it, right? So I pitched it to a gentleman who came in my life who kind of was enamored with my vision and some of my ideas and entertainment even. He was going to invest in a play that I was developing, right? And so this guy was locked into, some of my ideas, right? And that was a blessing. And I pitched the idea of taking the Shark Bar in another direction. I said, incorporate the soul food aspect to it and the market that I had an affinity, with B. Smith's and so forth. I said, let me rebrand it, reposition it, boom. And he wrote the check. So we had to restructure the original one, and 2 or 3 partners came from that, and it became this organic thing. The Shark Bar was me. I was the only African American. Other guys are Jewish, right? But we just rolled it. I mean, we just rolled the experience into it. So kind of created this speakeasy kind of feel and the vibe.
Yeah.
Brought in this moderate price soul food menu. We had this young lady, Larita Rock, was our first chef. So I kind of put the team together. I brought a guy from B. Smith's and who I work with, Richard Wright. And we created this team because it's about collaborations, about making it happen, right?
Always.
Boom.
Always.
And there was no guarantees, but the Shark Bar became
Fire.
iconic.
Yeah.
Yes.
Fire.
And it was because of the spirit of it and the collaboration, and then it became real, and then it became, well, what are we going to do? We had partners, and you got these. So then those things come into play. So I don't really want to tell the dirty laundry in it. So from there,
No, I don't. You don't need to do that.
Kind of spun into Soul Cafe.
Soul Cafe,
right?
oh,
Because I
Soul
wanted to
Cafe.
always create the supper club experience that was reminiscent of Harlem and so forth. So Soul Cafe became that. Malik Yoba is one of my celebrity partners there, and it became iconic. And in a short, it didn't last like the Shark Bar. Shark Bar was like 16, 18 years.
Yeah, 18
Soul
years.
Cafe's partnership was a little challenged, but it was special, right? Erykah Badu did 3 nights there before her album dropped.
Wow.
I've had the Charlie Wilson. It was just so eclectic and dynamic, right? Boom. And then I kind of sold everything in 2000, man. I had to those partnerships didn't work anymore, right? And so I kind of exited and cleaned my slate, and I had to get grounded again, right? Mm-hmm. God brought me through this. I had a needle in a few situations, and before I made the wrong move, I stepped back and said, you know what?
Yeah, self-awareness.
Let's clean the slate. So I started over, man.
You need that
Started
sometimes.
over. And that's when I created Urban Acres. I created the mantra first, building brands that build communities. I was going through a separation. I had to clean because I had to get right back grounded, man.
So how did you get involved with Puff and Justin?
Consulting to make money, in between deals. Because, in between deals, it gets a little lean out there. So,
Yeah, it does.
Puffy had always been one of my, customers during the 90s. And he always wanted to do something with me. He was almost going to be a part of the Soul Cafe. Didn't work out. So
Yeah.
he said, well, I want to do this. And so I found a space for him, brought in the team, suggested the name Justice, named it after his son,
Yeah.
and boom. And then I bounced because it was Soul Cafe was opening, right? So I said it's a conflict of interest and so forth. So that was a gig, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I touched it, and it helped him birth it. Then I moved on. And then
And how did you get involved with Carl Redding?
Carl was always a customer, always wanted me to be down with him, right? But I couldn't do it because I was involved in Soul Cafe,
Yeah,
all
like
these
your own
things,
thing.
right?
Yeah.
So after I let everything go, and then I built the mantra, building brands and build communities, I said, well, let's go be a consultant and help Harlem become Urban Acres, right? So Carl was my first client,
Nice.
right? And
That's a good first client.
kind of took
I
it
know.
from a baby.
Amy Roots.
Took Amy Roos from a baby with him,
Wow.
and then we took the thing, and it's, again, I don't want to, it grew tremendously, and then there were some things in the entrepreneurial journey, some things have happened. So what you put into it, that love, the foundation has survived the test of time. So that's still living. And then Newark, I was invited out by a couple developers, because a couple things fell through in Harlem. I was supposed to be part of the Victoria Hotel development.
What about the Abyssinian?
Abyssinian, that's what I've been part of. And then when the crash in 2008 happened,
Boom.
both of those deals one got detained. Abyssinian changed completely. So I was like a fish out of water. And then Newark knocked, right? So again, I kind of organically, and this is the let go, let God period. Full force, right? When you're born, you don't know no better. It's let go, let God. You don't really know any different, right? You just let God work. And then you get older and you think you know too much, and then you got to go through that. And then you had to go back to say, let me think as a child again.
Yeah,
Let go, let God.
I feel you.
You got to put yourself in play. And that's what I've done. I've just let myself evolve and just follow the path of what I see, right? What God shows me. And that's why I got to Newark and created Smitty and Moe's.
Smitty and Moe.
Smitty and Moe's,
Wow.
named after my father and his best friend.
The chicken kitchen.
There's even a story to that. It was the first name for this chicken concept, which I've had for like 10, 12 years, was Chicken Jones, right?
Yeah.
Chicken Jones.
Yeah.
Everybody thought it was so cool, and it was cool. Chicken Jones. It was kind of slick, right? But I was going with it. I even had it in a sign in Newark and so forth. And then the deal fell through on that lease, and then I didn't trademark it at that time. And then when I went into another deal, this deal at where I am in Gateway, the trademark was gone. Somebody from Switzerland or something had taken the name, So I had to come up with a new name, and it was the best thing that ever happened. So God guided me through that too.
Wow,
and I named it after my father and his best friend.
I like that.
Because my father really was the first person that kind of connected me to food, right?
Got it. Okay.
Father-son connection to food. His mother could cook and bake, and she connected me to food. And so food was always around, right?
Okay.
Never thought I'd be and my grandmother and her sister had a restaurant called the Three Sisters in Gary in the 60s.
Wow.
So
okay. So this is where it
already
is.
in the DNA. So again, you don't see these things.
Where you putting that chicken, man? What you putting that chicken?
I got the mojo on that. I call it my mojo. So no, seriously, I call it.
Nah,
call it
yo,
the
all
mojo.
right, man. Y'all think I'm kidding, man? Yo,
the mojo's.
all right. And the
Mojo.
cornbread. What's in the cornbread?
Cynthia makes this. Cynthia Long is my
Oh,
partner in crime. She's a culinary, 30
Genius.
years.
Genius.
Culinary person,
She's a
professional, 30
genius.
years from pastry
Wow.
to other stuff. So she came up from Atlanta and joined my team, and I took care of the chicken and proteins and that, and then she takes care of those special sprinkles, man. We make all our dressings in house. We make
The
baked
dip,
goods
the
in-house.
dip that you dip.
Everything we do is in house.
You
Wow.
dip the soul roll in the, in the sauce. You dip the soul roll in the sauce, man. All right, man.
As a seasoned restaurateur, right? There's a lot of people that they love food and they love like Patrick. Patrick loves food.
Of course, why not?
If he wanted to open up a restaurant, I'm not saying he wants to, but for those people who think opening up a restaurant is just about the food, tell tell us like
My mom should have opened a restaurant, man.
tell us the formula, or tell us what you would tell somebody else that's trying to open up a restaurant today, because there's a lot of people I know, especially in Brooklyn. In my neighborhood, Stuyvesant Heights, all you see is restaurants pop up all the time, but they close all the time. My wife and I, we had it wasn't a restaurant. It was it was a frozen yogurt shop. It was a parlor, and food service.
It was good, too.
Yeah, we ran it.
Good.
Yeah, we ran it for 5 years.
It was good.
And not because of the business, but because of the changing neighborhood, we had to actually close to renovate the front. And we thought it was going to take 1, 2, 3. But it took 2 years. It's taken 2 years.
Wow.
Yeah, because we had to fight Landmark. They were like, we need to bring. Yeah, so Landmark is a whole different beast. But this is like a special case. But for those people who are wanting to open up a restaurant, I was very fortunate to meet a mentor like you met B. Smith, right? Yeah. And got introduced to B. Smith. Yeah. I met this Jewish man. Right, because my wife was like, "Oh, let's go into frozen yogurt." Yeah. So I was like, "We don't know anything about frozen yogurt." So we started going to different frozen yogurt shops around the city. In the city, I'm talking about Long Island, Staten Island. We were going everywhere, Queens, and we went to one. It was Berry Wild in Manhattan. Okay. And this guy was like, "Yo, what are you doing? Like, why are you looking around? Why are you taking pictures?" And I said, "We're studying."
Scouting.
Yeah, I was like, we're studying. I want to know the machines. We want to open up a frozen yogurt shop in Brooklyn. This guy ended up saying, you know what? He was a Jewish man, so he had a term for it where it was like, this is his give back, doing like Rosh Hashanah. Sure. And he said, oh, perfect. So he took us on as his mentees, and he trained us. He did everything. He even he pointed us to the direction.
Give you no money?
No money. Okay. There was no money involved.
Sorry, I had to ask.
He didn't even ask for money.
No, you should ask them to be your partner.
Oh, no. No, you know what he said, though? Yeah. He said, I'm going to build this. I'm going to help you build this.
Okay.
I'm going to help you build this. But if you fail, and if you can't do it or you give up, call me, and I'll take it from you.
Yeah. Okay.
I said, okay. But we never called him, but he disappeared. It was like he did his good deed. He gave us the contractors, but that doesn't happen all the time. So if a person comes to you and says, hey, I want to open up a restaurant, right, what would you tell them?
I would give them the 101. I would challenge them on why they really want to do it.
Why they want to do it. Mm-hmm.
Prepared and, and capable. And, it's got to be beyond passion. So what have you done to prepare yourself to, one, be an entrepreneur, Two, to study the business and the industry that you're about to get into, to know all the nuances, and do you have enough money? Right? Those are the
most important.
Most important, right? So
Yes.
and then I would say don't do it unless you do it with me. Right, as a mentor, right?
Yeah, I hear you.
And so forth, or someone like me, right?
Yes.
To walk you through it, and so that's what Urban Acres. Again, that's one of the components of Urban Acres is to teach.
It's to teach.
What I hope to build is an economic platform, right? That's dynamic enough and sustainable enough to develop the next generation of entrepreneurs. I can't be there 24/7 for the next 10 years. So I want to create opportunities, right, for those who are willing to go to task, those who are willing to learn the game, right? Mm-hmm. See, the biggest challenge is finding the money because people say, oh, food, the risk in there. And it is risky. I'm going through some challenges now, on even the location that I took and so forth. All the pros of it was great, but there were some cons, and I'm in a space now with all my experience because that's what business is, right? Mm-hmm. It's a crapshoot, and if you're not prepared to go through all the journey and all the turns and everything, right?
Ups and downs.
Ups and downs.
Yeah.
Whatever, the lefts and rights, right?
Yeah.
You have to have a reservoir of who you can go to, right? Mm-hmm. So Urban Acres, I want to be that. I want to collaborate with, stakeholders in the community, from the nonprofit side to the profit side to the municipal side, to the community, those who want to be trained, those who want to be entrepreneurs. We must collaborate on creating the mosaic, right, and the tapestry of what wellness looks like in urban America right now, right?
Yeah.
And we must get in the trenches to do so. You can't do it from all these detached high places. You must be in the trenches to find out what people need. What do people need?
What do people need?
What people need?
Right. I always bring this movie up, Path of Glory.
Path of Glory.
Yeah, you guys got to watch that movie because it has a lot to do with the generals up there and the soldiers down there.
Right.
And you don't know what the soldiers down there need if you really you got to be. Kirk Douglas was the man in between the generals and the soldiers down there, and in order for you to really understand what the soldiers need, you got to be down there.
Yeah.
You got to, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You got to be firing shots too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You got to be dodging bullets too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
You have to build long-term
Path of
partnerships,
Glory.
right?
Yeah.
You have to have partnerships with. We must create collaborative partnerships in our community, right?
Yes.
We can't be afraid of deals. We can't be afraid of risk because we're all risking together anyway.
You're right.
So what are y'all scared of? We all got to get in here. There's enough for everybody. I've been trying to preach this for 25, and I haven't gone on the pulpit to do it because I'm still in my journey to building up the economic platform so I can help more people, right? So, but there is a call to arms right now. So I appreciate you guys.
Preach, brother.
Yeah, definitely.
This is my first call to arms to say, if anybody really wants to be in the food game, right?
Yeah.
Any investors, celebrities who want to be in the food game, please consider Urban Acres as your stopping point,
Your hub.
your hub to create ideation to see how that happens, the strategic way. Because I've gone through the journey, so give me a shot to show you how we can collaborate and create sustainable communities. Anybody want to be in the food game? Call me, Urban Acres. Micheal Vann.
Micheal Vann. Legend.
Do it.
Look.
Hey, Smitty's and Mo's, man.
Smitty's and Mo's.
Smitty and Mo's.
Smitty and Mo's.
Chicken Kitchen.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
yeah, man. They need to know that.
See, this is the type of reviews that you need.
No,
this is like
no. He needs. I've asked him to be one of my spokespeople, right? But the reason why you know you got a good brand is because your customers tell you, man. It ain't me saying it. I'm not saying this.
This is the credibility. Like you don't have to say anything. You didn't say anything. For the last 30 minutes, this guy's been Smitty and Mo's. I love it. I love it.
We might have a couple things that people, but on a whole,
yes,
my customers say yes. When they come back 3 and 4 times a week, that's telling you yes. When they come back for 2 years, they're telling you yes. When they're coming through at the paces they've been coming through, they're telling you yes.
I'm a believer.
And it's still not enough.
I'm a believer.
Continue to create sustainable. You have to you can't rest on your laurels.
No.
And you have to recharge and you have to reposition and, grow.
Yeah.
Listen,
right.
So
you can't get you can't get complacent.
Not at all.
Listen, I was in my men's prayer meeting last night, and we got to talking about what is needed in order for us to help men be affirmative and be strong as Christian men in today's society, right? Right. And one of the first things, or better yet, I actually made a suggestion that one of the first things that we need to do as a group is to build an infrastructure of, you understand?
Yes, I do.
You need a core strength. You need the planning executive team to come together and make a move. You see what I'm saying? That's why Urban Acres has got a foundation and it's got a core that if you want to get into this industry, you should consider it. And the food is going to blind you.
The objective is to help you.
I'm getting hungry. Bree, you hungry?
Right? You got to help people find their niche because everybody's not going to do just chicken.
Right.
There's a vegan play out there that must be continue to be nurtured, right? So you have to continue to develop and evolve the next generation of chefs, right? But you need the infrastructure.
Yeah.
Urban Acres. My goal is to be the infrastructure. It ain't about ego. It ain't about being a star. It's about being the foundation to collective growth, man. Collective growth.
You know what I like about my men's group at church. You know what I really like about it? Everyone checks their ego at the door. Yeah. You not coming in here with that. You see what I'm saying?
No.
We're not probing like that. You're going to check your ego at the door, and everyone's going to come in here, and what gets said in here is going to stay
in here.
You see what I'm saying?
I do.
Yeah.
Dude, it's life is very simple, right? You can believe in Jesus Christ, you can believe in Jehovah, you can believe in all, but there's a higher force bigger than you. Mm-hmm. That's what I know, right? Mm-hmm. And certainly the stories have changed as you become an adult. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But there's certain paradigms of a spiritual person, right, that ring true.
Higher power.
Right? There's a higher power, and there must be a respect to the higher power and your neighbor.
Exactly.
And you need to have a sense of humbleness that gives you the opportunity to grow and be strong, right? The ego must be in check because it stops and blocks blessings. You must be humble and true to humbleness. You can't be a fake humble person. You're either humble or you're not, right? You're either spiritual or you're not. Yeah. If you're scared of spirituality, don't even come in my room. Yeah. Right? I don't need you because I'd rather be alone and broke. Yeah. Right? Rich and with the wrong person.
Yeah.
So that's just
because you go broke anyway.
It's part of part of the journey, but there ain't a lot of time. We said that earlier.
Yeah, Mike. There's not a lot of time. We ain't wasting them.
People aren't believing the truth anymore. What is the truth? There's so many different factions of truths, right, that are being displayed on the internet, which is a wild beast right now. So there's so much going on. So if you got clutter in your life, you must simplify it and stay in your lane.
Yeah, that was another message. That was another message last night. Yeah. Get rid of the clutter.
Clutters, man.
They're
distracting us out here, dude.
Man.
We are lost in clutter. Right?
Yeah.
It's an amazing thing. It's critical.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
It's critical.
You're absolutely right. You're right, Mike.
It's critical, man.
Go ahead, Gene.
So, you have some affirmations that you have in your life. What are some that you would like to share with us, or one?
Let go, let God is one of my affirmations, right? And there's so many levels of it. Because I've always had a let go, let God attitude, because I've always just kind of moved organically. My ideas come organically. You know, I'll study the market, but my ideas come through me and through my high power and my peace.
That's the faith.
Yeah, right. That's where it comes from, right? It comes through, right? But there's so many levels of let go, let God as we get older, as we think we know more than we know, and so forth. But I'm going to tell you, there have been stories and times where when things supposed to have been just so, they never happen.
Yeah, nah, for real.
Until you let go and let God, you know, bring you through.
That's when it's like...
There's a magic about that. It's not inactivity. It's proactive, but it's about fishing, right? Throwing a pole out.
Love it.
Going to get some beer.
Love it.
Have a piece of chicken.
Yeah.
You do, right?
Yeah. I'm with it.
You must find your in-between times and let God work, because you
so
put it out
true.
already. So let go, let God for me is true.
It is true.
There are things I just cannot do.
It's true. When you have a plan, God laughs. You know? So
That's funny. My mom says that all the time.
But you can put it out there.
Yeah, you can put it out there. But what you think is going to happen typically won't. I'm in real estate, and sometimes when I think, okay, I'm going to do this, this, and this, and I'm going to get this out of it.
Yeah.
Never happens. When I just go to, I'll give you an example. 2 days ago, this past weekend, I went to BJ's, and my wife was, go get this, go get that. I said, okay, fine. I went to BJ's. I usually park my car in a certain place all the time, right? Because I know no one's going to come close to my car, so I usually park there. But this time, I said, you know what? I'm going to reverse in this other place, right? And I did. It's in Brooklyn. And when I was leaving, the cart, you can't put the cart close to the car. So you have to leave it on the other side of the parking lot, and you have to sort of like, lug everything to your car. Right. And most people do that. So they leave their car parked and they walk back and forth. So if another person's waiting for space, they have to just wait. So me, I never park there because I always see the situation. That's why I don't park there.
Trying to be slick.
Yeah. Right. So this time I parked there because it was really, I was like, there was a lot of spaces, so whatever. But this time when I came out, there was no spaces, and I saw this guy pulling up. As I was about to do the same thing everybody does, I said, you know what? Courtesy, I'll move the car to the handicap where it's closer, for just 2 seconds just to load up the car. The guy parks in my space. He comes out, and he's screaming. And I'm like, what? And he's like, you're a smart man. You're a considerate man. You drive that nice car because you do the right thing. And everybody's like looking like, what's going on? So I'm like, am I in trouble? Like, because I don't understand. Where his energy is coming from. So he comes, and I said, oh, okay, cool. He comes over to me and he says, look, you know how many times I come here and I wait for people to finish loading? BJ's, you buy a lot of stuff. Finish 10 minutes waiting for a space. You saw me coming and you moved so that I could get the space. And then I said, well, my plates say, whatever it says, right? I always say to everybody. And he said, you know what? That's good. And he said, what do you do? So I said, I'm in real estate. He said, look, me and my wife are looking for a 2-family in Brooklyn right now. Give me your card. Now, me and his wife and him, we're looking for a home, a second home. And that deal would have never happened, you see? But if I didn't go, if I didn't move, I would have never had this conversation with this guy.
Sure.
Never, and it wouldn't happen. So that's when you say let go, let God, situations like that always happen.
And be humble.
Be humble. Yeah. So the thing about it is, if some people hear me, they say, oh, you lucky. You're always lucky, Gene. You're lucky you got this deal at Madison Square Garden with Cumulus. That doesn't happen to everybody. No, you got to let go, let God. You got to trust the process.
The process.
And
trust the process is so important. Yeah. Today, I stepped outside of, this journey I'm in. I'm in a very intense journey right now, right?
And we pray for you, man.
I was sharing with you. It's like I had to get right to come here, right? To let everything go. Extra prayers this morning, extra stretching and everything, right? Stepped out of my comfort zone, right? And I know things about to open up because I'm here, spiritually, right? Because I had to let go again. I had to get out of that comfort zone of even staying home at peace. I had to get outside and open up God's grace, right? So I know, and I'll be calling y'all in the next couple of days, that things have worked out.
Yeah, nah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
So
and it will.
I'm testifying to that.
It will.
Listen, the other day I was in my house. I am a contemplating, deep thinking. I'm one of those guys. You know what I'm saying? And the other day I was in my house getting ready to do some big thinking, and a voice said to me, with all your big thinking, you never give thanks for the little things you get in life. I was like, whoa, wait. You see what I'm saying? All your little, you're so smart, Big Jeff.
Big Jeff. Columbia Jeff.
You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of little things that you let go by that you do not give thanks for. And I was like, dang, I almost started crying because I realized, like, you know what I'm saying?
Somebody peeped you like that?
Yeah.
And told you?
Yeah, wow. Wow. So I'm here.
Lessons, man.
You know what I'm saying?
True.
So here we are.
Here we are.
Well, that's a good lesson for all of us. So we ask all our guests this question.
Okay.
Out of the 3 words.
I need to turn around?
No. Faith, grind, inspire. Which word resonates with you and why? I have a feeling I know what it is.
Faith is the strongest word.
Given.
If you don't have a foundation of the spiritual latitude of what faith means, right? The journey latitude. If you don't have that, if you don't have that foundation, you can't inspire. You can't work. Right? You'll be still. You'll stop and start. Faith for me is everything. Right? Grinding is instinctive once you believe in faith. And you live faith, right? You're gonna work hard because you've been blessed so much. So why wouldn't you work hard, right? and through your work, people will see how good your chicken is, right? So you will inspire people.
Yeah, man.
He got it.
I mean, so,
Yeah, man. Yeah.
I love it.
Let them know, Mike.
That's
Let them
exactly
know,
it.
Mike.
That's
Let
exactly
them know,
faith,
Mike.
grind, inspire.
Yeah,
That's
let
why
them
those
know,
3
Mike.
words are
Let
there.
them know.
In that order.
There's only one way.
Yeah, only one way.
I mean, when I saw that, it's kind of like building brands to build communities. It's just like one of those statements. Faith, grind, inspire. Just one of those.
Booyah.
It's almost like a
Yeah.
accurate.
Right.
It's just right there.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
And if you stay right there, it's the foundation, man. You have to be in the foundation space.
Definitely.
I love it.
Yeah,
so
man.
give the address.
Tell them where they can find you, Mike.
Smitty and Mo's.
Yeah.
You can find me at Smitty and Mo's.
All right.
In downtown Newark.
All right.
In the Gateway Center.
Yeah.
And hopefully we'll be in a few other places. But right now in the Gateway Center.
Bronx.
We're open
Brooklyn.
We're open 6 days a week, Monday through Thursday, 7:30 to 6:30, Friday to 7:30, and then Saturday 12 to 7. We do catering. We love to bring the food into your home. So
Yeah,
nice.
SmittyandMo's.com, Instagram, Smitty and Mo's Chicken Kitchen. What else?
We'll tag them.
So
Yeah.
come out. It'll be worth the experience. If you like chicken, I always preface it. If you got something against chicken, don't come see me.
Yeah, nah. But if you do,
come see me.
yeah, man.
One last question for you.
I'm here as long as you want me to.
The superpower. What do you think your superpower is? And then after you, I want to know what Jeff's superpower is.
I don't have a superpower.
My superpower is probably love, right?
Okay.
My superpower is love, and there, I have some instinctive things that come from that. I'm a visionary. People call me a visionary, right? Because I'm ahead of the game on a lot of things, and over the years, people said that, but I would say love is my connector because it allows me to be humble. It allows me to be a servant, right? And I think that's my greatest gift is to is to empower, inspire, right? And the reason I can do this is because I love myself and I love humanity. So I would say that's my superpower.
I love it.
My superpower, I told you, all right, I am a genuine person. You see what I'm saying? I'm hard to get along with in a lot of cases, but it's because I'm a genuine person. I let you know what it is, and what it is not. So we go from there.
Absolutely.
You see what I'm saying? I don't see how else I can actually say it, but I am a genuine, good person. That is my superpower that I have used because it has kept me out of all harm's way for as long as I can remember.
Okay.
Boom.
Boom. And with that,
Authentic.
yes,
Yeah,
authentic.
exactly.
Your authentic self.
Yeah, listen, the other day I was reading the Bible, as a matter of fact, and it said, I must love my wife as I love myself. And I was like, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Right?
It's a love thing.
Yeah.
It's a love thing.
Yeah. So, I'm a leader.
And what about you? We got to kick it back to you.
Yeah,
Well, I always tell my superpower, but
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
This is my first time being
yeah, exactly. So my superpower is, I guess it's my ability to
Talk.
just talk,
Yeah.
but empathy, man. It's
Sure.
That's just it. I just have a lot of empathy for a lot of people, but I also want to give back to communities too. So I do it through the kids.
Sure.
I teach entrepreneurship in schools,
Sure.
and that's and I get it all the time. Kids ask me, "What are you doing here?" I'm like, I love you guys. Like, I know this is what I wanted when I was a young entrepreneur, young kid in college, trying to get up. The older men used to tell me, go play basketball. You don't grow up too fast, and it was tough. So I had to look outside of my community to get mentorship, so that's why I applaud you and what you're doing, because I didn't see that growing up at all. All the successful guys I knew that looked like me, they didn't want to help.
Before,
they didn't want to help me.
In entrepreneurs wasn't a buzzword when I was
No,
right? It wasn't a buzzword.
Entrepreneurship meant you had no job. You were unemployed.
Yeah, it's nothing certain, no certainty. So it
They didn't like that.
Now it's a buzzword.
Oh,
Now
yeah.
Now it's a means to the end. It's a necessity because now the paradigm of corporate America has changed dramatically.
Absolutely.
So now you're forced to do it. So you have to find an organic reason to be an entrepreneur. You're just not going to be an entrepreneur.
No.
See, that's part of the trickery that's going on now, or the challenge. I won't call it trickery. That's the challenge now. So you must understand what you know and what you don't, right? And you must be humble enough to go be part of a team and infrastructure so we can move leaps and bounds and not have to start where I started, right, 25, 28 years ago. I'm first generation, but now I'm second generation as I teach you, right? So we must now.
I went through it so you don't have to go through that. To quote Jay-Z.
Wait, before we go, I wanted to say something. Listen, there's something that is happening on the planet Earth that we should all be aware of, right? The older population are extending their lifetime. Since the year 1900, we are living 30 years longer than we were living ever before. So 30 years is like a whole nother lifetime.
It is.
You understand? Yeah. That is definitely a whole nother career.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So we now have to tap into this new source of energy, this new knowledge.
The 60 to 90.
Yeah, exactly.
Jimmy Carter.
Yeah, these people are still going to be here, and these people are still going to make life worth living. So we have to learn how to. intertwine
If
the
they
young.
don't forget them, we can't forget them.
Well, that's
They're
that.
special, man.
Well, that's
They're
what.
special.
Well, that's why.
I know. I'm with you. I'm just echoing.
Yeah.
I'm pouring gas on that thing, baby.
Yeah.
Pouring gas on it.
Yeah. We have to be mindful of this now.
Yeah.
And take it to. I don't want to say take advantage, but take advantage because these people have actually lived a life.
They have a lot of a wealth of knowledge.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, and they're gonna make your thing a lot better than
Of
what
course.
you think you can do because they've been there.
That's why.
done that.
That's why I appreciate what he's talking about.
Yeah, of
because
course, we love it.
It's. If I met you, man.
If I'd have met you,
Yeah.
I mean, but here we are now. So I
Yes,
know
yes,
we gotta
yes.
go. But here we are now. We must collect our spirits and our wisdom, how we can move forward now through collaboration.
Boom.
So that's what we need to do.
Yes.
That's
All right?
it.
That's my
Now, I do want to ask you one question. I wanted to ask you earlier, but when we were having that conversation, when you partner up with people now, right? What traits? Because you've been through it, you've been through partnerships. What traits do you look for in a partner when you go into the restaurant business? You mentioned something like why you're really doing. You did touch on it, but elaborate on a little bit more of what you look for.
You must know why you need a partner. So that means you really need to know your business. You really need to know your objectives and your goals, right? And what this business really needs. So why do I need a partner? Either if you need more expertise, hire a manager. If you need money, try to find an investor. If you need expertise who wants equity, you must really know that person brings what they say they're going to bring and so forth. And you must have an exit plan in case things go wrong with that person, right? So you can hire or join forces with anybody, but if it doesn't work out, you need to be able to get out of it, right? As quickly and as seamlessly as possible. Because you're not going to know everything about that person after you vet them, right? But you want to vet them. Do they have enough money to really be that person for you financially, right? Because if not, he's the wrong person.
Yeah.
You don't bring, a milkman to the table if you need the cow, right?
Yeah, right.
Go get the cow.
Exactly.
Right? So you make it's for me. I'm going through it again. Right?
I like that one.
I like that one
to
too.
grow, man. I'm looking to grow now, and I need a financial partner. And I got to make a decision that if I take X money from this source, how much I'm willing to give up at this stage in my life and live with it. Because whatever I do right now, I got to live with it.
Yeah.
Like in the 90s, I was a little more brash, right? And I said, I can do this again, right? 10 years went by, right? I don't have 10 years, right, to execute my vision of building brands, to build communities, urban acres. I need to make it happen. I got a potential deal with I can't even speak.
Yes.
So, boom. So, you got to know why you need a partner,
Yes.
right? And that they can fulfill whatever your expectation and your need is.
That's important.
Yeah. And know how to get out of
Yeah.
if it doesn't work.
Because I think a lot of people become partners, because they just like, I need somebody right now. And then they just put someone in and then.
Or you never. Let me advise you again. You never want to need a partner that bad,
Yeah.
right? Right? You might need somebody you need to work with, right? And like again, you can hire that person, right? You can make a decision to hire, or you can make a decision to have a partner who brings something, right? In both cases, they must represent what they say they can do, right? And if they can't, you need to be able to exit if they don't.
Absolutely.
Fire them or get rid of them and take your equity and move on. That's the best you could, because you don't have time to look over your shoulders, right? Because you're trying to build a business. I went through that in the 90s in one situation, right? I don't want to look over my shoulders by my internal partners.
Yeah, that's
I
not
want to
good.
go
That's
build
not
a business,
good.
right?
Yes.
I did that, dude. And I'm going to tell you, but the lessons are wonderful. However, I don't have that time now.
Yes.
You got
I
to live
agree.
with what you do, and if it doesn't work, you got to get out, and you want to hopefully get out on the high side.
I love that.
Straight.
That's the tip of the day.
That is the tip of the day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
Yeah.
Jeff Dog.
So
Yeah. You already know.
I want to thank Micheal Vann. I want to thank my co-hosts, Jeffrey Patrick, Brianna, Tim. Shout out to the entire Cumulus family. And I want to say a special thank you to all our new subscribers. I see the comments. I see the notifications. I want to thank all the new people on Instagram and Facebook that are following us. Thank you. And continue to watch us every Wednesday. We've been consistently bringing different entrepreneurs to give you their stories so you can learn from it, so you can be inspired to take action on the levels that you need to take action in your life to fulfill your vision. So with that being said, continue to watch us, faithgrindinspire.com. Tune in every Wednesday, like I said, and continue to grind, continue to shine, and keep going no matter what. Peace.
Cheers.